Hey guys, Jacob Kell here. Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk about what is the aligned path and how the three components of health, spirituality, and personal development are what we can use to transform your life from what it is now to what you want it to be, the aligned path within 6 months. So, the aligned path is our golden path. This is the life that we live when we are living in passion, flow state, abundance, and harmony with the world around us. Now, we have an infinite number of paths we can take in our lives. And most of the time, what people do is they unconsciously select the path that is handed to them. This is what we're told growing up. This is what we think we should be doing. This is everything that's typical, standard, and it's force fed through society to us. A lot of people have trouble breaking out of this because it takes an immense amount of self discipline and courage to actually follow your heart. Go with your heart's desire and express your passion fully. See, with the aligned path, what we're doing is we're activating our inner strengths and talents. We're expressing our passions in order to positively influence people around us and in turn make a living. But not just a living from expressing our passions, make a life. So, with the aligned path as our golden path and as our trajectory, our first step when I work with clients is determining what exactly their version of alignment is. See, we can't go somewhere unless we know exactly where we're going. So in order to do this, what we're going to do is create a crystal clear picture of what alignment means for you. And there's multiple ways in which we do this, but it starts by diving deep and using your imagination. I'm sure you've thought about it many times before, and you can come up with rich details in your imagination of what it could be. Now, the goal here when determining that true state of alignment is to assume that anything is possible. What comes to your mind when you think of your life? If I were to tell you that anything's possible, paint me a picture, tell me about it. You can even close your eyes and conjure that up right now, and I'm sure you already have in the past. So, what blocks us from stepping forward and living that life? Well, it's a multitude of things, and it goes back to the subconscious programming that we have that makes it difficult to transition. Effectively, we are being held back by our outdated beliefs, ways of being, and poor habits that basically aren't in alignment with that possible potential version of the future. So, in order to start getting into alignment with that ideal self, that aligned version of ourselves, we need to start acting like them, we need to start thinking like them, but most importantly, we need to start being and feeling like them. And so, after we get clear on what alignment means for you, what we are basically going to do is start mimicking the behaviors of that version of ourselves. So, if you can imagine, what would this version of you do on a day-to-day basis? What would they do when they wake up? How would they feel? How would other people treat them? What types of hobbies and passions would they be expressing? What would they do to make a living? What we want to do in order to tip the scale from where we are now to that aligned version is piece by piece start getting into the habit of being that way, the new way. Okay, so I love this scale analogy. If you can stick with me here, imagine a balance scale. And where we're at now is we're on the low, crappy end of where we don't want to be. Okay, we feel like it's hard to gain traction, hard to gain momentum. We're not clear on what we want to do. But over here is an aligned version of ourselves that is living in flow state. Things happen easily and effortlessly. They're expressing their passions and they're living in a more calm and peaceful state of joy and abundance. So, how do we tip the scale? Well, it starts by adopting the behaviors on the aligned side into the inaligned side or your current self, okay, and practicing them on a daily basis. So, what we'll do is we'll take one aspect or attribute and just start implementing that on a daily basis. And what you'll find is that imagine a small pebble gets dropped every day because you're practicing it. Now, you don't notice this, but it is adding weight to the aligned side. 30 days goes by, you have 30 pebbles. You still might not really feel such a change, but it's adding up. Now imagine 6 months goes by and look at where the scale's at now. Now you're teetering between where you were and where you're going, the aligned path, because you've implemented the habits on a continuous basis that are in alignment with that more positive future. So what happens after that 6 months? You add one more pebble and look what happens. The scale has tilted the other way. You are more in alignment than not in alignment. And now the habits, beliefs, and patterns are hardwired into your brain so that this new path becomes your automatic way of being. It becomes your automatic system. Okay? You no longer have to apply an immense amount of effort to change because we gradually even the scale, and now the new programming has been wired in. So in essence, that's a good analogy to explain what we're doing in my 6-month program where we go from where you are to the aligned version of yourself. And at this point, I'm going to explain why the 3 attributes, the 3 components, which involve health and well-being, spirituality, and personal development, are what we're going to focus on during this transition. So I always like to start with health and well-being, because if you're not healthy enough to enjoy your aligned, wonderful life, then what's the point? Okay? And health and well-being is a great place to start because anyone can start taking immediate control of their health if they're not already in control, and start moving toward the healthy version of self that they would prefer to be. And when we start shifting into being that healthier version of ourselves by focusing on what type of physical exercise that we do and our diet, we start making small wins. And this is all about small wins, this whole 6-month program. But those small wins add up. And as we go back to that scale, you're just putting one small win over the next until you tilt the scale. Now, being healthy is a fundamental part of being happy. And I will adamantly disagree with anyone who justifies some sort of unhealthy behavior or diet. It just doesn't make sense anymore. And if you guys are watching this video, you're well aware, and maybe you know you need to make some changes. Well, that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to help you get on track with the health and fitness component. So when it comes to fitness or physical activity, it's important that you are choosing something that you enjoy. Now, it doesn't have to be the same fitness regimen that I do. It can be your own thing, but we're going to narrow down what is best for you. What do you enjoy, and what can you do consistently multiple times per week that's going to improve your health and well-being and your mental state and give you those small wins. Now, when it comes to diet and coaching, that's something I can help you with and fully will help you with. My personal routine is a combination of calisthenics and hot yoga. Now, I like functional strength. I like lean muscle, and I like to be able to use my muscle and actively move my body. I'm not so much interested in huge size, but some people like that. It's not important. The point is just be healthy in your own body and in your own style with a natural physique. I do hot yoga because that is a wonderful way, the best way that I've found of increasing your flexibility and mobility, and as part of a long-term practice, this is how you keep your body and muscles just primed. So that combination of calisthenics and hot yoga, to me, after years of experimenting with every type of workout program, is the best combination for consistent strength training that I can do anywhere at any time. Now, the second component of our shift that we're going to focus on over 6 months is spirituality. If you do not have a spiritual practice or a spiritual set of beliefs, it is much more difficult to bring meaning and value to your life, to your existence. And so I'm going to really work to shift your perspective on the way reality really works. And this is something I wish we as a society talked more about, and there's reasons why we don't, because it keeps us in a lower state of less creativity, less questioning. But what we're really going to do is dive into what are your spiritual beliefs, and I'm going to expand your consciousness with by showing you some different perspectives about how you relate to the world around you. And I do this by asking those really deep questions. Why are you here? What is the point of life? Okay? Where are we going? What is the overall purpose of everything? You know, nobody asks these questions, and it's something that I think if we talked about more as a society, we would be in a completely different state as a community. So, developing and cultivating your spiritual IQ is an integral part of long-term contentment. We want real long-term authenticity, happiness, and joy. And we're going to get really clear on how our state of being is basically how we communicate with the world around us and with the universe. When we express that positive state of being is when we receive more positive energy, more positive events, more positive circumstances. So what we're going to really learn to do, and this ties directly into shifting into the aligned version of yourself, is focus on those positive feelings. We want to feel that way right now, today. And when you start practicing that, you start wiring in the neurological muscles to allow you to keep feeling that way. But as always, it's practice, it takes work, it takes commitment, and it takes consistency. And that's why we do a little bit every day to start adding weight and tipping the scale from where we are to where we want to be. Now, that third element is personal development. This is where we're going to point out what you're doing, what you're not doing, and where you can begin to make changes to receive more positive results in your life, okay? You're going to spit out to me what you are currently doing. What's your current day-to-day lifestyle? And we're going to dissect and analyze your habits, your beliefs, your thoughts about the world. And we're going to really find what's holding you back, okay? We have these hardwired limiting beliefs that we've adopted or received that are secretly running our lives. That's why if you've ever tried and failed at setting a goal or changing something about your life, it's extremely difficult. It's because we'll get all gung-ho that, yeah, I'm changing this tomorrow, and go all in and burn out rather quickly and revert back to the old patterns, no matter how much we really wanted to change or wanted to try and change. The reason is because we are not taking care of the root cause, the root belief system that's holding us back. So when I work with you, what we're going to do is dive deep into your psyche and really figure out what is the origin of those limiting beliefs? What is the origin of those poor habits? Okay? And by shedding light on that, the source, the origin, we're really going down to where those were coded into you. And the more light we shine on them, the easier it becomes for those to unravel. And the unraveling of the old beliefs and thought patterns is an integral part in switching to the new ones. And we don't actually have to do a lot of forcible work to unravel them. It'll actually happen naturally the more we just shed light on it, the more we become aware of those beliefs, of those systems of being. The more we cast the light and see it for what it is, the more power we actually gain back to that conscious choosing part of ourselves. And so that's why over the 6 months, this combination of taking control of your health and making small wins there, discovering a spiritual component to your life, and then living from that place, and then taking note through terms of self-development of your beliefs, your patterns, your behaviors, and shedding light on the root cause of them is what's going to allow us to fully transition from where we are now to the aligned version of ourselves in 6 months' time. Now, at that 6-point mark, you'll be right here where that scale is even, where you could easily go back to the old way of being and you can easily carry on. So we'll drop one more pebble on this side to add the weight to that aligned side, that new version of you, and really cement it in, okay? And when you're done with me, you will have a very clear direction to your life. You'll know what you need to do, why you want to do it, and the value you're going to bring to society and the blessings you're going to receive from the universe just for choosing your aligned path. Now, I'm going to make more videos talking about alignment and what are the benefits of living in alignment. And if you haven't checked out some of my other ones where I explore different topics of spirituality and self-development and ways to change, I encourage you to check out my YouTube channel at Jacob Kell. As always, I look forward to hearing from you. And if you want to talk more about this process, you can always schedule a free 1-hour coaching session where we're going to really dive deep into where you're at and determine if we're the best fit to work with each other and what we can do moving forward. It's absolutely free, and I guarantee you will walk away from that coaching session with a new perspective and fresh outlook. So, as always, I appreciate you, and namaste.